The top six fixtures have been announced, and I've lost interest because my team's shite and no in them. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. But yeah, the post-split fixtures have been announced. However, we've got the bottom six fixtures as well, so I'm back.
Would you rather begin with the bottom six?
We probably should. Let's get rid of the crap. Get the crap out the way first.
Here we go.
Speaking of crap, few troll comments on the channel, fake accounts, accusing us of deleting stuff, and it's like, well, hold on here, right? How many times do we react to polls? We read out literally all the comments about some of the dodgiest shit, the most, controversial shit you can get. Rangers being deed, Celtic touching kids. We read out all the comments, yet some people think we're deleting certain comments that they make. If we didn't want to see a comment for a certain person, you know what? We would just block that person, but we don't. So, yeah, I mean, people out there creating like 4 or 5 different accounts to say that we're deleting comments. Kind of sad, but here, keep doing it because it pops up the algorithm. So, just wanted to point that out there.
Puts more pennies in my pocket, doesn't it?
Aye.
Speaking of pennies, not pounds, this is brutal. Bottom six fixtures. Right, not one game on Sky. Bogging.
I mean, yeah, not one game on Sky. However, is there a justification for that? I mean, you could argue, why would Sky put on any of these games when they've got top 6 games to choose from? What I would prefer would be if Sky had maybe even reserved a couple of games or even a game for the bottom 6 fixtures for perhaps the final day in case there is a relegation battle going on. Now, I understand it, right? I mean, if there's not, then there's no real reason to show any of these games. But let's say we go into Sunday, 18th of May, and for example, Ross County Motherwell, that could be a loser finishes 11th.
Yeah.
Even Kelly Hearts, that could be, and I just think it would be a shame if we do get to the final day and one of those games basically is going to decide relegation. And I'm saying 11th because I think we all think that St Johnstone are just too far behind. Maybe they'll prove us wrong, but the point, I think they should have at least one of these games on the final day. Maybe they don't want to announce it yet, but it'd be good if they at least left open an available slot to televise one of these games. Let's say, for argument's sake, Kelly at Rugby Park, let's say they're in 11th, Hearts are in 10th, final day, and Kelly are 2 points behind Hearts, and a win at Rugby Park takes Kelly out of the playoff relegation zone and drops Hearts in. You tell me that shouldn't be a televised game?
No, of course it should be. What I would say is, I would probably have all 3 of the last games of the season via red button. What you got to bear in mind is, top 6 ends on Saturday. This ends on the 18th. The fact we could be going into Sunday the 18th of May, where, like, say the possibility of 4 teams getting relegated or a playoff, and it's none's on TV. What if we want to see it? What if we can't get to the game? You know what I mean? No, but these are serious questions you've got to ask. And what we're left on is
Double one.
It's double one. You're snookered. I mean, it's no good enough, right? See, in England, you've got the red button last game of the season, right? And not only that, more or less every game's on anyway. You don't even need to click the red button. Every channel's dedicated to the Premier League. We've got Premier Sports now as well. Well, maybe here actually, that's one thing I've no thought of. Maybe Premier Sports, right? Will actually get a few of these games. I don't know, but because
possibly.
But end of the day, Premier Sports gets the odd game. Sky is, in terms of the actual Premiership, that is the bread and butter. But any games that stand out to you in your wee club?
Well, Heart, third biggest club in Scotland. No, hold on. Third biggest fan base, third biggest budget. Where did Aberdeen get off in thinking that they're somehow number 3? Hibs, keep that crown warm for us because next season we'll come back. Robbie Nielsen, by the way, just been fired.
By the Tampa Bay Rowdies or something?
Something like that. So Robbie Nielsen is looking a job and Neil Critchley shite. They're the maths. They're the maths.
I'd get him back.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
He'd take it.
Hearts under Nielsen have been good. Hearts without Nielsen have been shite.
And that's without any Tony Bloom money.
Well, since the split came into effect, I'm pretty sure. No, not since the. No, not the. What was the reconstruction? Not the reconstruction. What was it when is it 2010 they changed the name?
Aye. 2011, I think.
Right. Since then, Hearts have only finished third 3 times, and 2 of those 3 times was with Robbie Nielsen.
What I'd say, Nielsen's got them promoted and took them to third place, right?
And the other time,
Neil Critchley has took them from 11th to potentially 7th at best. I mean, come on, there's levels to this game, and he's no on it. We had a great team back then.
And Nielsen took us to cup finals.
Yes.
Now here,
Critchley could still do that.
Critchley could, but I mean, it's been a weak fucking. It's been a weak run, hasn't it?
Aye. You don't care if he wins it though, but will he?
No, I won't. But I don't think he will. Right, so Hearts 3 home.
St Johnstone Dundee last game of the season. That's but I think St Johnstone might be down by then. In terms of St Johnstone, away to Motherwell, home to Kelly, home to Ross County, they're going to need to pick up 6 out of 9 points for me at the first 3 because they're not going to get hee-haw at Tynecastle, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, St Johnstone probably. They need a minimum. They do. They need a minimum of 6, I think, from those first 3 games.
Shows you how big the Celtic game was, though.
I mean, it was. People were saying St Johnstone are already down, but had they not beat Celtic, then that would have
They're
been...
not already down. I mean, I think it's not a ridiculous thing to say. I mean, they're playing teams that are...
What I would argue is, yeah, they might be a decent amount ahead, but Ross County and Motherwell's form are absolute shit.
Yeah.
Not saying Hearts' form's great, by the way.
Dundee just gets scudded 4-0.
You know what? You could make a case that everyone in the bottom 6's form's poor,
Yep, absolutely.
and they probably deserve to be there.
Yeah.
So...
I think that's fair enough. I think it's time to move into the top 6, though.
Yeah, but I'm like people were saying a few weeks ago, 11th was either going to be Dundee or Kilmarnock.
Not anymore.
I would not be surprised if Motherwell, Ross County. I don't think Hearts will finish in that. I think Hearts will finish 7th.
They should. Yeah, they should.
Come on.
I mean, they could, but they should.
Aye. So anyway, some interesting fixtures is what it is.
I mean, this is the business end, but on the top 6, so the big talking point for this game is the fact that Dundee United against Celtic. Celtic can win the league.
I am a little bit surprised about this because I personally thought they would have gave Celtic a home tie up next, just so they can try and win the league at Celtic Park. Another thing that surprises me is that they put the Old Firm game second into the split because it's unlikely. But let's say Dundee United do win at Tannadice. Give Celtic the opportunity to win the title at Ibrox, assuming Rangers beat St Mirren.
Well, I'll give you one reason why it's second. Sandwiched in between 2 European semi-finals if Rangers get through. No.
But you're not surprised they didn't put that... I thought that game...
No, because they want to fuck Rangers, that's why.
Well, you're entitled to think that. I personally thought they would have put that game at third or fourth. I know they're not going to put it last. And
well, I
don't see Celtic losing 2. Celtic only need 1 point to win it, right? So therefore, I think if the Celtic Rangers game was the third game of the split, there's a good chance that either Rangers don't win their 2 games or Celtic pick up at least a point out of 2 games, right? But there is a chance that Dundee United do beat. It's 1 game, it's a one-off game.
Yep.
To me, there's a not a big chance, but there's a half decent chance that Celtic win the title. Honestly,
would Rangers chuck the game if Dundee United get beat? Would they chuck the game against St Mirren?
I don't know about that, but would Celtic fans really be that upset if they lost to Dundee United?
I think they would be. No, I think that's the interesting.
Would they not love the chance to win it at Ibrox?
Of course they would. No, I mean,
let's say they win it at Dundee United. Do Rangers have to give Celtic a guard of honour?
No, fuck no. They'll just refuse to do it. Like they always do.
Are they supposed to do it though?
Yeah, but you just refuse to do it. I think it's tin pot. I don't agree with it.
What, the guard of honour? Or refusing to do it?
The fucking guard of honour. I think it's pathetic.
Is that a reason why you think maybe it's been second? So that Rangers have to give them it?
Well, no, because Rangers won't do it no matter what.
But you think it's like a ploy to make Rangers look bad for not doing it?
No, we'll put it this way, right? I just don't really think that. I mean, I'm kind of joking about the whole semi-final thing, right? I don't really think they're thinking like that, to be honest. I know people are looking at it like that. I mean, what you could say is, well, couldn't the SFA or whatever make this more interesting by actually giving... Like, would you have preferred the first game after the split to be Rangers Celtic? And that means there's a wee bit more importance to that game? No, I wouldn't, because I don't want them winning the league at Ibrox. But in terms of a neutral, that would be better.
Yeah, but when we tend to see they don't do that, though.
No, no.
They don't want. They won't put the game last, and they don't want.
I'm about first.
Yeah, that's why they didn't do it, because Celtic could win the title. They don't want that.
But why wouldn't? Is that not a good thing for the sake of the league? Oh, Celtic win in Rangers' backyard. Is that not?
Yeah,
is that not an extra selling point?
I think the way they look at it is it can cause issues and stuff, which is fair enough. But that's why I'm surprised they didn't put it further forth, just in case Celtic don't get the job done against Dundee United.
Yeah, Rangers have got 3 home games in a row. It's a weird schedule for me.
See, for me, see if it's a title fix. It's all helicopter Sunday. See if you had the Old Firm game last, you wouldn't need a helicopter. And how you talk about viewing figures, right? Would that not be potentially the most viewed Old Firm game of all time if it was a title decider on the final day of the season?
Might need an attack helicopter. Forget about a fucking normal one. But I mean, yeah, it would be, but they'll never do it. They're shite.
Move it to Hampden or something. 50-50.
That's shite on the team.
Nah, the home advantage.
Unless you got a written bylaw at the start of a season, but I don't know. Forget about your bylaws. Aberdeen Hibs. So that is on the 26th of April. I think Hibs will win that, and I think that'll pretty much guarantee. Well, I mean, I tell you what. I guess if Dundee United, if Dundee United beat Celtic, they're in a good position to challenge for third. I think Aberdeen needed to beat Rangers for me.
I'm looking at these fixtures. If Aberdeen don't beat Hibs, they can't get third.
Yeah, away to Dundee United, at home to Celtic, away to Rangers, and away to St Mirren. You're right.
I just don't see Hibernian dropping enough.
Behind, aren't they?
3.
Yeah, they're fucked.
I don't see Hibernian dropping enough points, and I don't see Aberdeen gaining enough points. I mean, let's say they draw. Let's say it's a draw. Aberdeen Hibs. Many points do I see Aberdeen picking up? I don't see them picking up anything at Ibrox. I don't see them picking up anything at home against Celtic. I mean, that means at best they could get 6 points. But the other 2 games are away fixtures to St Mirren and Dundee United, which won't be easy.
Yeah, like the fact the league's over, right? I would probably expect Hibs to maybe beat Celtic at the Parket if they're 4, and I would expect them last game of the season to beat Rangers Easter Road. Hibs are just, I mean, they beat the fucking Scotland.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if Hibernian pick up the most points out of these 6 teams.
No, because I mean they've picked up the most points out of these 6 teams since whenever.
And we've seen in the split 2 years ago, when Ange Postecoglou won the title, Celtic did have a dip of form.
Tell you what though,
They went off the boil.
Tell you what, see if Dundee United beat Celtic and then they beat Hibs, and then they've got a home game against St Mirren. Jim Goodwin could be on for Manager of the Year with a 3rd spot. The unthinkable, isn't it?
It is.
All hypotheticals, although. Into the last day, Celtic against St Mirren, Dundee United against Aberdeen, Hibs against Rangers. I think in an ideal world, right, going into the 17th of May, it would be good if all 3 teams had a chance of third, with Dundee United hosting Aberdeen and then Hibs at home to Rangers. But I just think Hibs will be out of sight by then. I think so.
Aye.
I think there's just much more of a case for Dundee United to still be in the race than Aberdeen, because like we said, they host Celtic first, and like we've pointed out, Celtic might not actually mind losing the game of football if it means they can win it at Ibrox. But again, I mean, we can say that, I have no doubt in my mind, right, that Rodgers would have, every Celtic player and fan and manager would rather win the league at Ibrox. But at the same time, do you really want to chuck the game against Dundee United, potentially lose at Ibrox? And I'm not saying they would lose the league if they lost the first 2 games in the split. They wouldn't, because all they need to draw. But you don't want to do that, don't you not? Chucking a game, it's ridiculous. It's not going to happen.
No, they won't chuck it, but at the same time, I don't think they'd be that upset if they get the opportunity to win the title at Ibrox. So
yeah. Anyway, folks, that's it. That is your post-split fixtures. It's a bit dead compared to last year, because you remember there was half a title fight, even if the wheels were coming off the Clermont bus last year. But yeah, great relegation scrap, and also top 3. 3 teams fighting for it. St Mirren, Rangers and Celtic are kind of doing, and you can maybe throw in St Johnstone, that are kind of doing nothing.
Listen, St Mirren, first 2 games at home, to have any chance of European spot, they need to win both.
Got a good chance.
And then they'd need to beat Dundee United as well.
Or they beat Rangers twice this season.
I do think that St Mirren would need to get 4 wins out of 5 to have any real opportunity.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see.
But it is the split, and the teams above them, I think, apart from Hibs, there's a real opportunity that Aberdeen and
Dundee United might not even pick up a win.
Yeah, they might not even pick up a point.
So
it's just a split.
So St Mirren will have an opportunity. I would say it's in St Mirren's hands, in a sense that I think if they win 4 games out of 5, that could be enough.
If Dundee United lose to Celtic, then they're away to Hibs. They could easily lose that. Then they're at home to St Mirren, and if St Mirren know Dundee United have lost the last 2, then that's a massive incentive for them. And then after that, Dundee United away to Rangers. So yeah, all speculation, but we'll be here to cover it. Of course, European midweek coming up. Yeah. And then we've got the Scottish Cup semi-finals at the weekend. Will you be feeling it, or will you be capitulating it?
That was shite.
Was it shite, aye?
Hearts are going to win. We have to win. It's about time we won something.
Oh, you better fucking win. I've got a lot counting on Hearts to lift this Scottish Cup, my friend. Anyway, till next time, folks. Peace.